Welcome back. If you are new to the channel, this is Robin Bagwell Patterson, and this is dual diagnosis dementia. And so we're talking about vascular dementia and Lewy body dementia on this channel, specifically in the African American community, because that's who I am, right? But if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. And also share this information as much as possible with people that you believe that can benefit from it. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the difference between undiagnosed and misdiagnosed, okay? And that may seem like that's a no-brainer, right? But I want to talk about it because I believe that in our community, and whenever I say our community, I speak of the African American community because that's the community that I am a part of, but it is not just in the African American community, so I do not want to rule anyone else out. So I want to put that disclaimer out there. This is not just for someone who's African American, but I needed to get on this platform as an African American woman who is a primary caregiver for both of her parents who have been dually diagnosed, one with vascular dementia and one with Lewy body dementia. And because of my research and my wits end of trying to find information and trying to find out what in the world is going on with my dad, because he was just recently diagnosed within the last 6 months, I didn't see anybody that looked like me. And not that that's a bad thing, but it's not good. So as a result of that, I just really felt a burden to start this channel because I know that it goes on in our community, but I also know that many people are undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. And it's so important that in our community, we don't stay hushed about our health, whether it's physical or mental, and that we don't stay hushed about the journey that it takes to be a caregiver for someone who has been diagnosed with dementia. And so I really felt impressed to start this channel for that reason. And so when I say our community, I speak specifically as it relates to the African American community, but the African American community is not the only community that is affected by dementia. The numbers are growing rapidly every year. And so if you are undiagnosed, that means that you have a medical condition that has not yet been identified. Okay, so my dad was undiagnosed for at least a year. But he was also misdiagnosed in that it was said that he had dementia, but the specific type of dementia, which is the Lewy body dementia that he has, presents way differently than vascular dementia or Alzheimer's. It presents totally different. And so it's important to know the difference. It's important to identify what the problem is and get a proper diagnosis. And so about a year ago, as I said in my previous episode, my dad was diagnosed with dementia. And, I was in denial. I was like, my dad doesn't have no dementia. My mom has it, but my dad doesn't. His memory was fine. He could remember what he was doing, where he was going. He knew what year it was. He knew what day it was. He knew who the president was. He knew who everybody around him was. He could remember my address, my telephone number, and all of the family members that are in New Jersey. He knew all of that information. So in my mind, there's no way that he has dementia. But it was in his notes. And so I was like, okay, I'm not sure why that's there, but Okay, if that's what you think. So I didn't really think about the dementia because I was like, they're wrong. And doctors can be wrong, right? And so my dad started having all of these different symptoms and episodes. He was sleeping a lot more during the day. I mean, he would get out of bed, eat, sit on the couch, and be asleep. Now, I get it. In our community, we talk about itis and we talk about you eat, you sleep, right? This was way more than that. He would eat, sit on the couch, fall asleep for hours. I'm not talking about a little cat nap. I'm not talking about, oh, that food was so good. Let me take a nap. And then you get up a half an hour later or even an hour later. We're talking hours. And so that was unusual. And then sometimes when I would go in his room in the morning, he would say, yeah, the boys came and they were jumping on the bed last night and I couldn't get any sleep. And I'm like, the boys? I have 3 boys that live at home. And I was like, Daddy, the boys weren't in here jumping on the bed, you know? And so I just thought because my parents' room is below the boys' room that, you know, maybe they were jumping and he felt like, you know, they were jumping on their bed or something. I don't know. Or I thought maybe he was dreaming. But it happened more often. And I was like, okay, what is this about? And so only after he was diagnosed with the Lewy body dementia did I realize that what I thought were dreams were actually hallucinations. And so it was like, okay. The doctor said, I don't understand how my colleagues missed this. She said, he definitely has Lewy body dementia. And so I was like, okay. They said that he had dementia, but I was like, he can't have dementia. She said, he does. It's Lewy body though. And if they weren't specific, then you didn't know what to look for, right? And so he was undiagnosed, but also misdiagnosed in a sense because they were not specific to the type of dementia that he had, and probably because they didn't know. But nonetheless, if you are undiagnosed, you have a medical condition that has not yet been identified. And if you are misdiagnosed, then you have a medical condition that has been identified improperly. And if it's identified improperly, it could cost you your life because there are medications that you could get that would cause your condition to worsen if it is misdiagnosed. And so it's important to know the difference, and it's important to get a diagnosis. My last episode, I said, write it down, make it plain, document, keep copious notes. It's important that you do that so that you can paint a picture for the physician. That's the only way the physician was able to say, this is what I believe your father has. Go look it up, see what you find, and then we can discuss it. And so I looked it up, and out of the 10 signs that I saw, he presented with 8 of them. And I was like, wow, okay. I guess he does have dementia, but not vascular dementia, which is as a result of a stroke, and not regular dementia, is a result mostly of aging, but Lewy body dementia. And so it's important to understand the difference between being undiagnosed and misdiagnosed. Initially, based upon what I was sharing with the doctor, right? Because again, when you keep copious notes, you paint a picture. And so every appointment, I would bring my notebook and I would say, This is what his blood pressures were this week. This is what he's been doing. I noticed that after he eats, his blood pressure drops extremely low. Why is that? And his cardiologist was able to answer that question. He said because the digestive system is requiring blood to allow the food to digest properly. And as a result, that's going to pull his pressure and cause it to drop lower. So after he eats, just let him sit a little bit longer and not get up from the table because his pressure is already low. And if he gets up, because of the orthostatic hypotension, that is also one of the symptoms or signs of Lewy body dementia, that it could cause him to pass out. So make sure, one, you understand the difference. Undiagnosed, having a medical condition that has not yet been identified, and misdiagnosed, having a medical condition that has been identified improperly. Okay? So if it's been identified improperly, then it is a misdiagnosis. So it's important that you keep copious notes. I'm going to say that a whole lot in all of these because the notes and the information that I was able to share with the doctors is how they came about with the diagnosis of Lewy body dementia. Because for Lewy body dementia, there is no one test that says this is what you have. It is a memory test, yes, but with Lewy body dementia, my dad's memory is fine. But it is also information about daily living, daily activities, sleep patterns. And so if I did not have that information, or if I was unaware of those things in keeping those notes, then I wouldn't have been able to answer the doctor's questions, and we would still probably be trying to figure out why is his blood pressure being affected in the manner in which it is. So make sure that if you have questions, if you have something going on and you don't know what it is, write it down. Keep the information written down. Journal, sticky pad, whatever it is that's going to help you to keep it all in one place. Because our information paints a picture. And we need to paint the doctor a picture because they are medical practitioners, which means they are practicing medicine. Okay? Okay. So, misdiagnosis versus undiagnosed. Wrong hand. Undiagnosed versus misdiagnosed. So, keep this information. If you haven't already subscribe, like, and share with as many people as you know, and hopefully the information that I have can be helpful. There are a number of topics that I'm going to be talking about as we journey through this dual diagnosis of dementia. I'm going to be talking about depression. I'm going to be talking about how dementia presents. I'm going to be talking about challenges in caregiving. I'm going to be talking about what the caregiver needs, what you need, right? I'm a caregiver and I can tell you a whole bunch of stuff. It's like unbelievable. And you don't know that you need it until you need it, right? I have a 22-year-old son who at 14 was diagnosed with stage 4, grade 4 rhabdomyosarcoma. And it is a very rare soft tissue cancer. And as a result of that, I have been taking care of people for a long time. My mom, as I said, she had her stroke 14 years ago. And I immediately was in New Jersey, which was where they were living at the time, every week with my babies, every week for days at a time, to assist in making sure that she was getting the care that she needed, talking with the doctors, asking questions, right? And so it's important that you know how to take care of you, because nobody knows you better than you. And so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about legal documents. We're going to be talking about guilt. We're going to be talking about respite care. So if there's subjects that you want to know about or you want to talk about, definitely leave me a message and leave me a comment, and I will do my best to answer the questions and have discussions on some of the topics that you all present. So again, undiagnosed versus misdiagnosed. Know the difference and make sure that you are documenting everything so that you can paint a picture for the doctor so that you can get a proper diagnosis as well as the proper treatment for whatever may be ailing you. Thank you so much for watching. Again, like, share, and subscribe, and I look to see you again next time.